Have you ever doubted yourself, even when you knew you could handle it? Have you ever stayed quiet in a meeting, not because you had nothing to say, but because you didn't trust your words? And have you ever looked at someone else and thought, they're so confident, why can't I be like that? Self-doubt can feel like a constant question mark hovering over your life. It shows up when you're about to hit send, when you're about to raise your hand, when you're one step away from trying something that matters to you. And the frustrating part is, you can be capable and still feel unsure. Self-doubt isn't a sign that you're broken. It's often a sign that your mind is trying to protect you, just in a way that backfires. It's also more common than people admit. Most people simply get better at hiding it. So today, let's make it feel less mysterious. Here are 7 psychological reasons why you struggle with self-doubt. Sometimes, self-doubt isn't really, I can't. It's, what if I try and it goes badly? Because if you don't fully try, you can tell yourself it didn't count. But if you try your hardest and fail, it can feel personal, like it says something about you. So your brain offers a safer option, hesitation. You may procrastinate, over-prepare, or keep changing your mind. You might rewrite the same message 5 times. You might wait for the perfect moment to start. Not because you're lazy, because a part of you is trying to avoid the sting of disappointment, embarrassment, or regret. In a simple way, fear of failure teaches your mind, if I doubt myself first, it will hurt later. But the cost is that you never get the clear proof that you can do it. Self-doubt grows fast when you constantly stand next to someone else's highlight reel. You might scroll and see people who look successful, confident, and suddenly your progress feels small, your talents feel ordinary, your personality feels not enough. Even if you were proud of yourself 5 minutes ago. You might notice this in real life too. Someone speaks smoothly and you think, I'm awkward. Someone learns faster and you think, I'm behind. Comparison tricks your brain into using the wrong scoreboard. You judge your messy, behind-the-scenes moments against someone else's polished results. And when you do that long enough, self-doubt starts to sound like truth. But it isn't truth. It's just your mind trying to measure your worth using a ruler that was never fair to begin with.
Perfectionism can look like high standards, but inside it often feels like, if it's not perfect, it's not safe. You may tell yourself you're just being careful, yet the moment you start something, your mind begins scanning for flaws. A tiny mistake suddenly feels huge. A small, awkward moment becomes proof that you shouldn't have tried. So you hold back. You rehearse what you're going to say, then decide it still isn't good enough. You might spend hours tweaking a project that was already fine, because fine feels like a risk. And the cruel part is this: perfectionism doesn't actually create confidence. It creates conditions for confidence. It whispers, you'll feel okay once everything is flawless. But life is rarely flawless, so your self-doubt stays because perfectionism keeps moving the finish line. A simple way to see it is this: your brain is treating mistakes like danger, not like information. And if mistakes feel dangerous, self-doubt will always feel responsible. Sometimes self-doubt isn't coming from today, it's coming from a memory. Maybe you spoke up once and someone laughed. Maybe you tried hard and still got criticized. Maybe you were compared to someone else or made to feel like you were too much or not enough. Even if you tell yourself it shouldn't matter anymore, your nervous system remembers. So when a similar moment appears, another presentation, another first impression, another chance to be seen, your mind pulls an old file from storage and it warns you, last time hurt, be careful. You may notice it as a sudden tightness in your chest or a wave of I don't know what I'm doing, or the urge to shrink yourself before anyone else can. Self-doubt can be a bruise you learn to protect, not because you're weak, because you adapted. Confidence often grows when someone, anyone, reflects your effort back to you. Not constant praise, just enough to register, I'm improving, I'm doing something right. But if you grew up with little encouragement, or if your wins were ignored, minimized, or instantly followed by "what's next," your brain may not store success as evidence. You might accomplish something and feel nothing, or you might immediately think they're just being nice. So your internal voice becomes the main narrator, and if that narrator is harsh, self-doubt becomes the default. You may even feel guilty for being proud of yourself, like pride is something you have to earn 10 times over. When reinforcement is missing, you don't just doubt your ability, you doubt your right to feel confident in the first place.
Overthinking can feel like you're being responsible, like you're considering every angle. But a lot of the time, it's self-doubt wearing a clever disguise. You might replay conversations in your mind on the way home. You sounded weird. You talked too much. Why did you say it like that? Or you might stand in front of a simple decision: what to apply for, what to say, whether to start. And your brain opens 20 tabs at once. What if you choose wrong? What if you regret it? What if people judge you? Overthinking treats uncertainty like an emergency. So instead of acting, you analyze. Instead of learning through experience, you try to predict every outcome in advance. And the more you think, the less clear you feel. Because your mind isn't searching for a good option. It's searching for a guaranteed option. But guarantees don't exist. So self-doubt keeps you stuck in the loop. Think, worry, hesitate, then feel bad for hesitating. A simple psychology idea here is that your brain believes thinking more will reduce fear. But often, thinking more just keeps the fear in the room longer. This one is quiet but powerful. Low self-worth isn't always "I hate myself." Sometimes it's just a steady feeling that you're less deserving than other people, that your needs are too much, that your opinions are less important, that if someone gets to know you fully, they might leave. And when you carry that belief, even softly, self-doubt becomes automatic, because every challenge turns into a test of your value. If you succeed, it feels like luck. If you struggle, it feels like proof. You might notice it when you receive a compliment and your first instinct is to deflect. "Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could do it." Or when you make a small mistake and it hits you like a bigger statement. "I'm so stupid. I always mess things up. Why am I like this?" Low self-worth doesn't just question your skills, it questions you. And that's why self-doubt feels so heavy, because it's not only about the task in front of you, it's about whether you feel safe being seen. A simple way to say it: when your worth feels conditional, confidence feels fragile. So if self-doubt has been following you around, it may not be random. It may be fueled by fear of failure, doubting yourself first so it hurts less later, comparing yourself to others using an unfair scoreboard, perfectionism, believing only flawless is safe, negative past experiences, old pain showing up in new moments, lack of positive reinforcement, not storing wins as real evidence, overthinking, trying to find a guarantee before you act, low self-worth, feeling like mistakes mean something about you. And if you recognized yourself in any of these, that's not a diagnosis, it's a moment of clarity. Because naming what's happening is often the first time you stop blaming yourself for it. Before we end, I want you to pause and notice something. If self-doubt has been loud in your life, it doesn't mean you're incapable. It usually means you've been carrying pressure for a long time. So let's make this practical. Here are a few ways to start turning it down. First, name it without obeying it. When the voice says, "I can't," try, "I'm having the thought that I can't." Same thought, less control. Second, lower the goal to something you can actually do today. Don't aim for confidence. Aim for one small action with doubts still present. Send the message. Write one sentence. Ask one question. Take one step. Third, use the 80% rule. Finish the thing before it feels perfect. Let it be real, not flawless. Fourth, stop feeding the comparison loop. When you catch yourself spiraling, ask, what am I assuming about their life that I don't actually know? Then return to, what would progress look like for me this week? And finally, collect evidence. Each day, write down one thing you handled, one effort you made, or one moment you showed up anyway. Your brain learns confidence from proof, not promises. Your value isn't a performance. You don't have to earn the right to take up space. Self-doubt may still show up sometimes, but it doesn't have to be the voice that drives. If this video helped you feel understood, consider subscribing for more animated psychology videos like this. And if you want, share in the comments, which step are you going to try first?